Hi, my name is Morgana, and earlier this week I was reviewing why client results in 2016, their money manifestation was so much more dramatic than any year I've seen before, where my client Pamela went from being an employee with huge financial anxiety to owning a $3 million company. Perry made over $12 million in 3 years. Let's see, Leslie made over $1.2 million in a month. And Catherine was putting together a seven-figure deal within 6 days. And I was really thinking to myself, because it's the beginning of 2017, what was different in 2016? What do they all have in common? And aside from the obvious that they're women, and that's interesting because my biggest results used to be with men. The rapid six-figure and seven-figure results used to be the domain of men. And suddenly the sisters are like way out ahead. And what changed is I've been shifting my attention and my focus to my money goddess work, my money goddess curriculum, 7 goddess archetypes. It's a journey, it's a pathway starting with my signature work around relationship with money. And that's only the starting point. That's the foundation for all the other stuff. And not only are they making way more money, but they're falling in love and getting married. And that is so much fun. So something else came up that I didn't bring up when I wrote my blog post about the spiritual shift behind these like mega seven-figure money manifestations. But there's something else I noticed. Now I have 7 money goddess archetypes. We have Psyche, Aphrodite, Persephone, Hecate, Artemis, Athena, and Lakshmi, right? But the lion's share of women who work with me, either one-on-one or at my money goddess retreat, fall into 2 archetypes, my Persephones and my Athenas. And then there's a group that kind of cross over as hybrids, as Athena Persephones. And so let me tell you about my Persephones and my Athenas and why I love them so much, because I want to find out. We're going to play a game, and I actually posted a bunch of videos on my blog, and I want to find out if you guys can see which is which, if you can guess. So let me, and also, if you're a Persephone or an Athena, let's find out. So let me tell you about my Persephones and my Athenas and why I love them. Now, Persephones are magical. Persephones, I would, in the broadest, most general terms, they've been to hell and back. It's the story of the goddess Persephone going to hell and back. So they have this experience and this humility and this empathy. They are the healers. They are the empaths. My Persephones are often psychic, and they are magical. And one of the hallmarks of a Persephone is no matter how old she gets, she carries this quality of perpetual innocence. There's the youthful, innocent, girl-like quality, even if she's in her 60s. And again, I love my Persephones because they are magical healers, empaths, psychics. They can be woo-woo. And some of them, that'll become clear when I get into Athena Persephones. They may not appear that on the surface, but there's some magical quality going on underneath. And if you're a Persephone, you probably know who you are. You probably don't feel like you fit in with this world because you can see things and understand things that other people don't. And your gifts and your talents are often not recognized. And when you're in your wound, like your deepest pain, you feel like it's all too much, like you need to be rescued, like you are a helpless little girl. And I call that a Persephone tailspin. You may not say no. You may be a people pleaser. You may get taken advantage of because you have such a good heart and people sense the healer in you. So that's the sad side of Persephone. But Persephones rock. When they get into their power and become leaders and become queens, holy heck. So that's my Persephones. Then my Athenas may feel like or appear like the total opposite on the surface. I love my Athenas. Let me tell you about Athenas. Athenas are go-getters. They can be really masculine CEOs, business women, smart, smart, smart. But they can also sometimes feel so masculine that they're keeping the kind of love that they want out, like a common common Athena pain is she just can't find a man who is her equal or is man enough, or she finds she intimidates men. That can be a thing. Some Athenas actually are in relationship and are married, but there's this level of intimacy that they yearn for that they can't quite get because they have their armor. Athena in mythology, she just jumped out of her daddy's head in full armor. She was never girly. Some Athenas may not trust women or not have female friends. Not all. Some have great female friends, but I often hear from my Athena women that they that traditionally feminine qualities feel weak to them. They like to figure it all out in their head. Often they feel disconnected from their body, their sexuality, their emotions because they are so brilliant and so smart. They're in their head. But what happens is then their heart gets lonely and they feel lonely and they're not having the sisterhood and they're not having the lover that they yearn. They feel overworked. They're doing it all by themselves. I call that Athena overwhelm. It's like this mile-high to-do list, and no matter how much you achieve, you keep hitting that ceiling in love or money or both, and you're doing it all yourself, and I love my Athenas. Last year, I had all these women who had their own companies in traditionally masculine fields like technology and finances and import-export. And what happens with Athenas is when it becomes safe, and that's the key, when it becomes safe to be feminine, whoa, they become so powerful and so relaxed. They are able to just access their Aphrodite powers. Competitors and business suddenly start wanting to be their heroes, doing things for them. Men and friends are able to contribute, and Athena not only makes so much more money and allows so much more love in her life, but life becomes so much more easy and she doesn't have to give up any of her smarts. So those are Persephones and those are Athenas, and then there's the combination. What it occurred to me late last year is that Athenas with all their armor, and they're like, don't bother me with the woo-woo, and kind of cut off from the magic and femininity and sensuality and all that kind of soft stuff. Underneath all those defenses, I would say most, if not all, Athenas are protecting a Persephone underneath. So those wounds and that magic and that desire to heal the world and save the world, that softness is there. And there are a lot of really smart business women who have really amazing talents that are more spiritual or intuitive or emotional or empathic. And wow, when you have a woman who can do both, can be the brains and the spirit and the heart and the whole package together, that's the best thing in the world. And that's really what we're always working for. And that's when the money explodes and the romantic stuff falls into place and the sisterhood falls into place, because every woman has every one of the goddess archetypes. And some women might be a Persephone with a really strong Aphrodite wing, or you might have an Athena with a really strong Artemis wing, or different variations. But my women really come to me, and I can see that the women I work with and the women I love to work with are Persephone's and Athena's, maybe because that's me too. So here's the challenge, here's the game, is I posted a bunch of videos of women from last year's retreats. And I'm not going to tell you who's a Persephone, who's an Athena, or who's a combination of the two. But based on what I told you, I'd like to see how well you guess. So I'm going to post a link to that section of my blog so you can just go through the videos, and I invite you to guess. There's perfection, by the way, not allowed. Not allowed. If we had to be perfect to be successful, that's not a game that I play. So I'm just curious to see if your impressions are the same as mine. And I also would love to hear what you think you are. So Aphrodite is the goddess of love and pleasure and beauty. Persephone is the wounded healer, the empath, the psychic, the magician, the young, innocent girl who brings her gifts to the world. She's been to hell and back, so she understands certain experiences. Let's see, Hecate is the goddess of boundaries, of no, of destruction, getting rid of what doesn't work. Artemis is the goddess of intuition and going and getting your goals. She tends to like animals better than people, and she has a lot of girlfriends. Athena tends to not have a lot of girlfriends, hangs out with the guys, super smart, in her head, CEO, can be really masculine, really successful in a man's world, and is yearning for the softness and the joy and the love of Aphrodite and the community of Artemis and the connection of Persephone. And then when you have all the goddesses inside, in their power, working together, then you have Lakshmi. So Lakshmi is the whole package. Happy in love, happy in wealth, saving the world, and living a great life. So tell me which one you think you are, and look at the videos and tell me which ones you think are Persephone's and which ones you think are Athena's, and I will give you a gift just for participating. You don't have to get it right. Namaste.